you're watching, buy a home, whether it be your first home or trade up. And I see we have Tamar Hodges on the call. Welcome. If you want to come into the live stream, you can come in live on the Zoom call if you sign up on the Eventbrite event we have, the Home Buyer Workshop. Or you can go live onto the YouTube or Facebook. And if you put in comments, either the chat box or raise your hand if you're on the Zoom, or put a comment in the chat box on the Zoom, or if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, if you put a comment into the chat box, theoretically at least, we'll get notified. And we'll do our best to keep up with all those questions and keep you guys informed. The goal of this is to be interactive. I know that people learn more when they participate than when they just watch somebody. So we started off this process 8 weeks ago. We had an overview, and then we've gone week by week. We talked about really the 7 different steps of the process. And just a quick recap is buying for you. What's your why? Number 2 was home prices and inventory. Number 3 was how to take advantage of the shifting market. 4 was purchasing a new home, what the process and the paperwork was. 5 was home financing. Last week we talked a bit about credit, number 6. And number 7 is your roadmap to the home purchase process. How we get from where we started now to the end where we're in a house. So, I bought my first house in 1987. And, I think that what I recognize in the process is that it's transformational. When you go from somebody who's only rented, maybe as a young adult, or as a child in someone else's house, or as an adult struggling financially or trying to put some money together, or for whatever reasons, to becoming a homeowner, you're really transforming yourself, really taking responsibility to a whole new level than before. That was my experience. And so what's that mean? Well, there's a mindset part of that. There's an attitude and an emotional part of that. And then there's the work, the actual physical part, and then there's the results. We have to change our mindset. We have to do some work, save money, clean up our credit, get the documents together, shop for the house, go through the paperwork process. And all that results in us getting a property, hopefully, that we want to live in. That's the process. Now, one of my great coaches was Tony Robbins. And he says the mistake we make is we want to do and then have, and then we think we'll be. We do things that successful people do, and then we'll have those things, and then we'll be successful. And it really isn't that way. He says it's really be, do, have. You have to be successful in your mind and win those small victories to change your mindset, to be somebody who is what you want. So you want to be a homeowner. You have to start off now with a mindset of what would owning a home look like and how would that be different for you. And then you'll do the things you're supposed to do. Maybe it's budgeting yourself or cutting costs, or instead of buying, I know for me and my wife, we used to go to Starbucks and buy coffee. Now we make coffee at home. We save money. Once a week, I go to Trader Joe's and buy a nice type of coffee. We grind the beans there, but we save, it sounds insignificant, but we might save 40, 50 bucks a week. That could be $2,500 a year over 5 years. That could be $10, $15, $20,000 if it appreciates. So that money adds up over time. And so because we be a certain way, we do certain things. We take joy in them. We don't do it miserly and feel bad. We do things that help us. They're in alignment with who we are. And as a result of that, we have things. We have more money in the bank. We have no debt. We have assets that are producing income for us. That's the be, do, have part of this. So Patricia, I know you've helped buyers buy their first home. I know you bought a home along the way. Mm-hmm. Have you seen people go through that emotional change from being renters or maybe living with their family members to owning their first house? And what's that process like?
Yes, Bill. It's, it is transformational. It's also, something where you have to be very disciplined. So I have seen my clients get to where they would like to be in their new home, living in their new space with their family.
Yep.
And some of that is adjusting along the way as far as, maybe the drive's a little bit further out. That's the situation with one of my clients right now. She sold her house near USC. She works at USC. Fight on. But she, we found an amazing deal in Lake Elsinore. So she was able to make that change where she's only driving into her job once a week at the university, and the rest of the time she's working from home. So, it's something to consider. You're going to get more bang for your buck. I think if you're going east towards the IE, towards Riverside, San Bernardino, considering the way the market is right now. And that's what she wanted. She wanted a large yard. She wanted more, 4 bedrooms instead of 2. So it's just thinking about what's going to be functional for you and your family and what changes you would need to make so that when you are in motion and you are in your new place, you're not, feeling bamboozled by all these changes that you're needing to make because you've already trained your mind to basically recondition yourself so you know what's coming and what to expect.
My wife and I have a house for 18 years, and I was talking to somebody who's in Wyoming where the cost of real estate is much less. It was actually my tax preparer, and I was telling her what my payment was, and she was shocked at how much it was. And I said to her, well, it's a lot less. The same property here has gone up. It's double, what we paid for it. We're thrilled to pay as little as we do. And then we were talking about the size of my home office, and she was asking how big the house was. She was shocked that it wasn't some sprawling mansion. I said, no, I'm in LA. It's a modest 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's nice. I'm not talking it down, but we pay for the location. We want to live in a certain area near family, friends. We're religious Jews. We live near our synagogue, and it was important to us to be in a certain area. But it is very modest, but we've changed our life to accommodate that lifestyle. We don't need as much as other people do. We don't travel. We have, our celebrations, our family and things are at our house. And that's why we bought the place, was to have that lifestyle. And so I think it gets back to, again, there's trade-offs. I mean, other people, I have a family member who just bought a $17 million house. Like, wow.
That must be amazing.
Well, that's twice their annual income, right? According to this, according to the newspaper. So that's a different life. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it if you have that kind of money. But my point is that you have to be true to yourself, and you have to know what your goals are. And then there's trade-offs, and you have to live within those means to achieve those kinds of goals. So let's talk a bit about also the work involved in buying a house. So you were an escrow officer. You know what it's like when people have to sign the final papers, and you've done it with clients of yours as a real estate agent as well. Is it my imagination? Does that seem like a job to people, and they're surprised at the work involved in the final paperwork? There's a lot to do there, isn't there?
There's a lot to do, and in my experience, what I've seen is that clients, they feel so pressured and in a hurry to sign everything and return it that they don't really take the time to actually read it. Right. So I would highly encourage anyone, that's getting into any type of real estate transaction, especially if you're already in escrow, to read your paperwork. The escrow instructions are put together to basically encapsulate everything that's in the purchase agreement. And if there's any errors there, you want to make sure that you can have those corrected. Any escrow amendments that are coming to you that are DocuSign, people just signing things on their phone, and sometimes it may be hard to read, but I encourage everyone to just take a little bit more time, get on your computer when you have a moment so you can get a full, clear picture of the amendment or whatever it is that you're looking at, so you can get a clear understanding of it. And ask questions. If you don't understand something, that's a perfect opportunity to ask questions so that you can get the answers that you need and feel comfortable with what it is that you're signing. So it starts with all of, the purchase contract. Then once you open escrow, you're going to have your escrow opening package, which again is going to include escrow instructions and more information. And after that, you're going to get disclosures and other paperwork along the way. So you definitely want to pay attention to what it is that you're signing, and just take a few minutes to read everything before you just hit that DocuSign button and send it off back to escrow or to the agent.
On one hand, as agents, we want to get things done quickly for our customers. On the other hand, we want them to read things and take the time they need to read things, right? They're kind of counterbalancing. So I want to say for customers, there's 2 real protections you have in this process. When we send you documents to sign electronically, there's 2 important protections I think that you should be aware of. Number 1, the electric signing of itself can always be undone. Just because you sign something electronically doesn't mean you can't recall it. Doesn't mean you can't say, hey, you know what? I reread the document. Now they noticed it. I didn't mean to sign it. You can't do that weeks later, but you can do it that day. Or you can do it the next day. You can do it before certain deadlines pass. So what I tell people is, but more important than that is all the electronic signature documents, you can download a copy and review it. And so what I say to customers is, look, download it right away and start reading it. But start right away. And if you need a day or two, let me know. Take a day or two. But because the system is designed to allow you to review in full, whether it be as you sign, which is almost impossible because it flips from signature to signature,
Right.
or you can download the whole document set and review it. The second thing I would say is, in my experience, nobody reads every page. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not excusing the fact there's so much paperwork. I've had customers, make comments when they sign a new listing agreement, which might be 20 pages. And I say, I have to tell you, this is the beginning. You're going to sign about another 1,000 pages to sell your house. There's just no way around it today, given the laws in California. But I do think it's very important. At the end of the day, you have got to trust your agent. You've got to trust me and or Patricia, or if you don't, let's get together and work on that trust. If something came up between us, let's work it through, because you need a second set of eyes and you need somebody who's an expert. I've done thousands of deals as an agent, broker, and manager. Patricia's done thousands of deals as an agent and as an escrow officer. But it doesn't matter how much we've done if you don't trust us. And so I would say is, let us know if you're not comfortable, if something doesn't sound right. You should expect us to be able to explain anything we ask you to sign. And that's one of my criteria when I coach new agents, is I tell them you should never ask a client to sign anything that you don't fully understand. When you present it to a client, they expect you to know what it means. And so what I tell clients is spot check a couple things and ask some questions and see if we know the answers and can explain them to your satisfaction. If we can't, then something's wrong, and let's stop and let's figure that out. And if we can, then I think you have the trust built to move forward in the transaction. But I always tell people, never do business with people you don't trust. It doesn't matter how good the paperwork is that you think it is when you read it. If the people aren't trustworthy, you're probably going to be in trouble. And the flip side, you should lean on people you trust to be a second set of eyes and look out for your best interests. It's our jobs to look out for your best interests when we're your agents. So, Patricia, how much time when you have buyers looking for property in this market, how much time does it take them to find the house they're looking for when they get started? You have sellers who put the house in the market, get an escrow, they have to find something. What's that process like?
Right. Well, in this hot market with my last client, we were able to get under contract in 3 weeks. So I'm not going to say that's typical, because I know that I've had other clients that I've helped look for, 3 or 4 months. My last listing that I just sold last month in Los Angeles, I had a buyer come by. She was really interested in the property. She had been looking for a year. So I don't think that, there's just a general time frame. I think it depends on how aggressively the buyer's looking, the time they're taking to go and look at properties, and how hard their agent is working for them as well. So you want to make sure that your agent is on top of the market that you're currently looking in and getting all the information on the listings that are coming out, and, making those phone calls to the listing agents to gather as much information. So it's varied recently. Right now, obviously there are fewer listings, historically speaking, at this time of the year, but
fewer than ever.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been taking a few months, I would say at least a few months, to get into a new property or the next stage.
Now, when you say somebody was looking for a house for a year, what does that mean?
So the buyer that came by, she was interested in the property that I was selling. She had been making offers and going in person to tour properties. And she was already an expert in the purchase contract. She had already been making several offers, and she was very energized. So after a year, you'd think that she was ready to quit, but her mindset was, I'm going to get into a house. I'm not going to stop looking until I find the right house. And so, that's also one of the, I think, driving forces to get you into the next property is, not to give up, keep looking. It might take a little bit of time, but it will happen.
Well, when I find somebody who tells me they're looking for a year, my general experience is that the agent they had just was not setting proper expectations.
Mhm.
Because if you think about it, anybody looked for a house a year ago, today that house in the same area is going to cost more by what? 15%?
Right, at least.
So if you didn't like the house
Mhm.
if you didn't like the house a year ago at 400,000, you're not going to like it anymore today at 460.
Right.
Right. And so what happens is, and oftentimes I find those buyers, they missed one or two houses early because the agent didn't push them and help them prepare. And so they saw the perfect house, but they weren't really ready for it. So their offer wasn't taken seriously, or they couldn't even offer on it. And that's why it's so important. The reason we've done this series is to reach out to people looking to buy property to say, listen, we'd love to help you. Don't be that person who buys the same house a year later for an extra $60,000. Oh, and by the way, rates went up. It costs more. It's still a good deal. It's still the house you want to live in. It just costs a little bit more.
Right.
And how do you avoid that? And the answer is, as we said all along, feel comfortable with the process, learn the process, commit yourself to the result, and do the work. And we're here to help you. I think Patricia and I are here to help you get your credit ready if you need that to do that, get your income ready if you need to do that, get your lending paperwork ready so you're pre-approved and you're a strong buyer, and then put us to work for you. Put Patricia to work. She's a hard worker, wear her out. Have her call me and complain about how tired she is. Wear her out looking for the house for you. But our job is to go fight for you, but give us the tools to fight for you rather than a year later go to some other agent and say, I couldn't find anything. It's been a year. It's just, to me, it's just maddening to watch those people go through the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a client right now that, it was not anything under her control, but we were actively looking late last year, and she lost her job due to the pandemic, and now she's on the job search. She's been on the job search, but a lot of things have changed. Prices have gone up, interest rates have gone up, and at this point, we're having to refresh all of the financials and the credit and, basically the loan approval too. So if you've been looking for a home and your offer has not been accepted, I would also suggest checking with your lender and making sure that your pre-approval hasn't changed, because you might have qualified for a certain purchase amount and you might have lost some of that purchasing power due to the recent changes in the housing market.
That said, sometimes we can make up for that by working a little harder and pushing or finding a deal to fill out of escrow with another agent. So if this is something that's important to you, commit to the result and then do the work required, reach out to us. So Patricia, if somebody wanted to get together with you to start the process, or at least to find out what's involved, how would they get in touch with you?
So my cell number, that's the best way to reach me, is 323-365-9909. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have, whether they're just informational, premature questions. Maybe you're not ready to buy just yet, but you just have some thoughts about the process. I know I spoke to one of the home buyers recently that have attended the workshop, and they just wanted a one-on-one, appointment. So we've been talking. So I'm happy to do that and basically schedule a time with anybody that just has any questions or would like to know more about the process.
I think it's really important. The more you plan and prepare, the more likely you are to have success. Before we wrap up, I see Tamar. I see you on the line. Do you have any questions you want to put in the chat box, or raise your hand, or unmute yourself, or are you good?
Hello. So it sounds like you all have been doing a series, and I kind of catching, you in part of the series. Is there a way I can go back and watch the previous series just so I can get a sense of kind of where I start and how I end up at the point where I'm actually looking?
Absolutely. Where are you looking to buy property?
I'm in the St. Louis, Missouri area.
Got it.
A long way from California.
Well, it is. My best friend actually invests in property in other part of the state, Kansas City,
Okay, yep.
Missouri. So I realize it's a big state. It's not close by, but I'm just saying same state at least. It's not a different planet or anything. So, if I don't know if you can drop an email or text to Patricia, but we can give you a link to we record some of these episodes and they're posted on our Facebook group. And then we'll start again next week. Really from the very beginning, we're going to repeat the series a couple times just because it's something that we do regularly and try to reach out to buyers like you across the country. So if you want to give her a text, that'd be a great way. And then we'll send you a link to the recordings we have of the prior weeks. And then we'll make sure you're invited back for the following weeks as well. Okay?
Okay.
There's your email. There's your email in the chat box. Patricia, you got that?
I did, yeah. I'm just
Good.
responding. Mhm.
Fantastic. Yeah. And then we have colleagues in St. Louis as well. So maybe we can connect with somebody there who can help you as well.
Okay.
Okay?
That's great. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Tamara. Look forward. Now, here's the thing, Tamara. If you end up buying a house, we need a picture of you in front of the house with a big smile, okay?
Okay. Well, let me see. So,
Oh, yeah. Look at that smile. Not smiling
see
now.
a
Now you should be frowning, look sad, look forlorn, look frustrated, But
Yeah,
no,
not
after you buy the
yet.
house, come back with that's $1 million
Yeah.
smile tomorrow.
Yeah.
Good. What do you do?
I'm an attorney. I work for a
Look-
pharmaceutical company. So I'm in-house.
Okay. So you're an in-house attorney for a pharmaceutical company. Okay, good.
Mhm.
Well, love to get you put together and love to help you with some more information. And Patricia has your information, and we'll send you the prior recordings, and we'll invite you to next week as well. We're going to do this from the beginning. So hopefully, the reason we did it that way was people come in for a couple of weeks and
Yeah.
learn the process. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Tamara. Have a great week. Patricia, thank you as always for being my sidekick on this. We do this every Wednesday,
Thank you.
5 p.m. Pacific time. Tamara, what time is it in St. Louis right now? 7 o'clock?
We're central, so 7:24.
7:24. So we do it 5 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock in St. Louis, Missouri, just for tomorrow. We do it 8 o'clock Eastern time every Wednesday. We record it live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you go sign up on the Eventbrite or give us your contact info, we'll be glad to send out to you. Thank you so much and have a great week, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.